Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the Pumpkin Patch. If you are new here, hello. My name is Kloee Taylor, and on this channel, I believe that we have one of the most cozy, autumnal, vibey corners of the internet. So if you love the way that I read, you want to be part of this community, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you will always be notified when a new pick a card is posted. And I'm so excited to get into today's reading. We are doing an urgent message from Spirit. This is literally just me. I've meditated, I've talked to Spirit, and I have said, Spirit, give us a message that you need to hear right now, basically. And so this is going to come through as any kind of channeled information. We have a couple of new decks that we're working with today that I think are going to leave some really impactful information to you, or give you rather some really impactful information. We're also going to be doing candles today, intention candles. I'll explain that in the individual readings. And before we jump in to the card selection, I do want to let those of you that are unaware know that I have a Patreon. If you would like to join, you get exclusive content over there that you cannot get anywhere else, as well as an entire backlog of content from May of last year as soon as you join. So there's like something like, I want to say over 30 readings, plus I do like weekly energy readings there that you can only get on the Patreon, and you get early access to all of my videos. So definitely check it out. If you would like to support me in that way, it is certainly appreciated. And for this reading, let's go ahead and talk about the selection. So you can choose based off of the candle color. You can choose based off of the timestamps if your lucky number is present. Maybe you saw the thumbnail of this video and you already immediately knew what you were drawn to. It is completely up to you. Definitely trust your intuition with this. And sometimes people will listen to the entire video from start to finish, and then they will decide at the end which one was for them. Sometimes all three piles do speak to an individual. Sometimes it's one pile, sometimes it's two. The most important thing is that you know that you will never choose wrong. Even if there is just a few cards per pile that really resonate with you, that was what you were intended to hear. That's why you were guided here from your spiritual team. I don't believe that you've stumbled across this video on accident. So just trust yourself, trust your intuition. That's the most important thing. And I'm going to turn up the meditation music and give you about a minute to make a selection before we get into the individual readings. All right, beautiful soul. If you chose the purple candle here, we're going to go ahead and do an intention candle together first. So if you're new to this practice, I'll give you a brief explanation and then we will be deeply breathing to it. I will timestamp the reading as well. If you don't want to do the intention candle, that's totally your prerogative, but I really like to take my time with this process because it's a really good time for you to put intention into your life, and that's the most important part. So I want you to think of something you want to bring into your life more at this time. Or if it's maybe like a feeling, a person, a place, a thing, something that you would like to experience in your reality. Now, the color purple is linked to the divine feminine. It is also linked to psychic ability. So you might want to set intention for those things. However, if those do not call to you, you can use this candle however you want to. Basically, you just want to infuse this moment with the feeling of having what it is that you desire. So we're going to take a deep breath together, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Place one hand over your heart, one over your belly button. And we're just going to take this deep breath together. I want you to focus on the feelings of what it would feel like to have the thing that you desire, okay? So let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Pile number one, I also want you to roll your shoulders back a couple of times. Just roll your shoulders back. 1, 2, and 3, and then roll them forward. 1, 2, and 3. And my shoulder popped when I did that. Yours might have too. I just feel like you're carrying a lot of tension right in your shoulder region for some reason. So we just wanted to roll it a little bit, but let's go ahead. We're going to light this candle. And basically what this does is this is like an offering to the universe or whatever deity you worship or ether or source, that energy. This is really just an offering to that energy that says, hey, here's my intention. This is what I'm asking for. I offer this up to you as a symbol of that. Now bring it to my life. And we have had great success on the channel with these, and even in my own life. That's why I continue to do them and bring them to you, because they work really well. So we're going to go ahead and take our enchanted lighter, and we are going to light this candle, see if we can get any messages from the flame or the wick, and then we're going to get into the cards. So I do see that the wick is tipping a little bit towards the divine feminine side. And this to me says, especially if you chose the purple candle, this might be a time period where you need to lean into the art of letting go, of rest, relaxation, of ease, and of receiving, instead of trying to force this thing to come into your life. Spirit is saying that it can be easy if you let it be easy. So that is so far the message. I'm going to leave this candle right up here so that if any other messages come through the flame, I can tell them to you. So let's go ahead and start out with a few oracle cards. So this is from the Empyrean deck from Threads of Fate. Look at how cool these cards are. They change. Do you see that? So it says portal and now it doesn't. Really cool cards. So you got the card portal. I'm just going to lay the ones out here that we have, and then I'll explain them to you. You also got cloak. So cloak. And then you also got the card light. It says light. So what this says to me, just especially with these three cards in tandem together, cloak, portal, and lights, you are somebody that has a very special gift. You are somebody that has a very special talent or something that needs to be honed internally. Because with cloak, this to me says that you need to focus your energy on being a little bit more hidden from the world right now. And it's very important that you conserve your light energy, because when I see light, this to me says that you are somebody that is here to seed light into the collective unconscious. And you cannot be the light if you are constantly shining. Now, that doesn't mean that you aren't shining in your own right, in your own home at all times, but you can't constantly be this beacon to the world. Sometimes you need to actually bring your light back into yourself and just shine for you for a little while. And so I think the urgent message that Spirit is giving us right off the bat is that you need to be taking better care of yourself and not putting yourself out there so much right now. So this could be in the way that you are meeting with others in general, or if you run some kind of freelance business, You may want to focus on just pulling back a little bit, doing things a little bit more hidden, not really sharing your dreams or wishes or goals with the world right now, and just really working on your own stuff. And that doesn't mean you can't share with people that you trust, of course, but maybe not just sharing anything with the world until you feel fully that you have brought it to consciousness yourself first. Does that make sense? And then portal, I want to focus on this card in particular because what you are doing, Spirit is saying, is when you cloak yourself, when you hold on to your light for yourself, you are creating a new portal for you to step into the next chapter of your life, which is going to be something that is of great magnitude. You need to enter this portal. And in order for you to do it, to step into that chapter, you have to take this time in with yourself. And especially those of you that you have a hard time just being by yourself or sitting in your own energy, this can be a really difficult process. So don't think that this can be easy. For some of you, this might be so easy. You might love spending time by yourself, but Spirit is saying there are some of you that you have a really hard time with this. And it's really important right now for you to hone in on that. And maybe even ask yourself why this is such a difficult process for you. What is it about being alone that is so scary or difficult for you? And journaling that out, praying that out, doing things that really help you to get to the heart of the matter. For myself, I use tarot cards to help me understand what it is that I am experiencing on my internal landscape, and I get really great answers out of that. So whatever it is that is going to support you, maybe it's coming to tarot card reading videos that give you that sense of self, that sense of awareness. But I get the sense that you need to spend a lot of time in your own awareness right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at some tarot cards to go with this. We have for you the 10 of Cups. I like this card. I feel like this is all about like home and family and having a positive home and family experience, as well as really having it all. If you have big dreams for yourself and your life, this is really about having all of that. And in order for you to step into having all of that, if you don't feel like you already do, this is why you need to take this time to really cloak and take care of your energy, because you have big dreams, big grand dreams for your future. And Spirit is saying that you are on the track to having these. And if you're somebody that you already feel like you have the home, the significant other, the empire, whatever it is that you're trying to build right now, if you're somebody that's already there, Spirit is saying that you need to protect that. Spirit is saying, I'm hearing specifically, like, especially if you're a magic practitioner, you need to put up more protective energy on your home. Your home needs to be a safe haven. You need to protect it from even being able to be seen. Like, I have such a crazy experience about that, and Spirit is pushing me to share it. So, for example, this is how crazy magic can be if you are somebody that is willing to be open to putting protective wards up on your house. It's very easy to do. There are so many ways to do it. I have a video on my channel already where my husband and I talked about protective magic. He is the practitioner that often does the protective magic on our home, but to put it into perspective, this works so well. I'm hearing that some of you are like, what is that going to do for me? This works so well. I saw physical results in a metaphysical sense. Like, in my last home, I can talk about this because I don't live there anymore. In my last home, my husband and I actually discovered magic in that home. That was when we both became witches. That was when we both really opened up to our divine calling and purpose in witchcraft, which I'm not saying it's going to be witchcraft for every person. It can be whatever it is to you. You don't have to label it that way. For myself, I am a witch, but I know that that's not everybody's cup of tea. So whatever you want to label it. But we put up protective wards on our home, making it not just protected, but literally shielding it from the eyes of the world. And this worked so well metaphysically that we looked up our home on Google Maps, and we lived in a duplex at the time. So half of the house we shared with somebody else, but like it was their own space. Like we didn't share any rooms or anything. Like there was a whole wall between us and the other half of the house, if you've never seen a duplex. they had basically, it's like two mirror images of a home, and it's just two people on a unit, but like our spaces were completely separate. My point to this is, on this duplex on Google Maps, my half of the house was blurred out. The half of their half of the house was not. Like our neighbor's house was not, but my half was blurred out. I never once submitted anything for that. I have no idea how or why that happened. And why would you only blur half of a property instead of the whole property? So really crazy. That stuff really does work. For any of y'all that are skeptics, I feel like that's why I needed to share that. Magic does work. Magic does work. And if you have the intention that your home is hidden from the world, trust me that it will be. So it shall be. So we also have for you the card of the Hermit. And this to me just really parrots what I was already saying about you needing to hide away from the world. You have this cloaked figure, which we got the cloak for you, going through and actually closing her laptop and stepping away from the world. And I feel like that's kind of like a modern take on how we can cloak now, how we can hide now, is to disconnect from the internet, to disconnect from being open and public with the world, even in a virtual landscape. And this is about walking away from the internet world for a while and just being with yourself. It's very easy to get caught up in what we think we should be doing, who we should be interacting with, how we should be moving in the world. If we don't stop, disconnect, and tune into us, we forget about the actual surroundings in our immediate vicinity, or our connections with people, or the way that we feed our vessel, or the way that we move our vessel. We so easily can get distracted from those things when we are constantly on a virtual landscape. So pay attention to that, in particular, your relationship with technology. We also have for you the Three of Wands. This is literally you dreaming and scheming new ideas for yourself. I love this for you. I feel like this is something that you are wanting, you're calling it in, and I promise you, Spirit is saying they promise you that if you actually take the time to dedicate to stepping back, you will see results. You will see a different future for yourself. You will see tangible change. Tangible things will start to show up in your life, but you need to allow yourself to disconnect for a while. And I think the thing that is coming to mind for me the most is that in our current reality, we're constantly projecting this image that everybody should be in bloom all the time. And I am the first person to sit here and tell you, you cannot do that. You will burn out. You will not be able to help yourself, let alone anybody else. You cannot bloom all the time. We actually have designed a world that does not serve humans or humanity. And we are actually here to be the change makers to change it. And we cannot see change outside of us if we don't start changing within ourselves first. We're not going to see the world shift into a new way of working, a new way of being, until we give that to ourselves. If you want to see a world where everybody lives cyclically or cyclically, you have to start living cyclically or cyclically. I like to say it cyclically. I just think it sounds more fun. I'm not actually sure how you pronounce that word, but basically stating that, you know, we have spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and every single person also has a spring phase, a summer phase, an autumn phase, a winter phase. And if you are someone that bleeds and has a menstrual cycle, you also have like mini cycles going on every single, you know, however long your cycle is. I'm not going to put days on that because it varies from person to person, but even that is something to honor. You know, we have made the way of the world like, oh, just, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Just like put a tampon up there and keep working, instead of, oh, this is my winter week and I should really slow down and be gentle on myself. You have to start doing that in order to start seeing it, instead of just stressing over the fact that we're not seeing it. Does that, like, I hope this is making sense, that I'm really getting the sense with your reading pile number one that your vibration is very important. I mean, everybody's vibration is important, but yours in particular, this is how you're actually going to start creating change. Isn't by going out there and doing. It's going to be about you going inward, closing off a little bit, and creating this season for you to rest before you bloom. And then we also have the Chariot, which this to me really talks about the rise of yourself again. So eventually you are going to come to a place where you are ready to get up on the horse again. You are ready to be in that spring phase of your life. You are ready to get up, create. You are ready to get into the thick of working, whatever it is that calls to you. It doesn't have to be any of those things. It could be all of those things. It could be none of those things. But my point to this is the Chariot is about like forward momentum and going after something, going after your destiny, riding the chariot towards your destiny. And the thing that we need to remember is destiny is great and all. We love destiny. We love feeling good and purposeful. That is something I think that the human self desires, or maybe even the soul self desires, is to follow destiny's lead. However, part of destiny is resting. Part of destiny is not blooming all the time. And you will bloom again. You will move again. You will, some of you, the urgent message that's coming is that you are going to be like moving house again, or you are going to be maybe even getting a new car. I know that's very specific for some of you, but getting a new car, there is something new that is on the horizon for you. And as I said that, this candle started flickering. So some of y'all are getting new things, but you're not going to get them by seeking and running after them. It has to be more of a relaxed approach. And I think for a lot of you, that's a very hard thing to do. So I do want to say that if you're allowing yourself this space to show up for yourself this way, I'm very proud of you. I know what a struggle that can be. And then I also have a couple more cards for you. I love these cards. They're always so direct. We have... it's all in divine order. Allow. How can you relax into the flow and go with the current of life? What have I been saying to you throughout this whole reading? How can you release? How can you let go? How can you allow yourself to get into the flow? I know that so often it is guilt that will override us into thinking that we have to be outperforming everything or everyone. Even as a YouTuber, it's very easy to get caught up in the analytics, to get caught up in studying other people's channels and think to myself, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be as popular as so-and-so, or it must be so lucky to be there in the algorithm. And that's something that I myself have had to stop looking so intently at, to relax and to just let spirit speak and channel through me and to not worry about the rest. And for you, you're being asked that very same thing. And whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you create, whoever you are in this lifetime right now, you are being asked to relax and let the universe take care of you. Let nature take care of you, because it is possible if you allow. And then we also have the card of the universe rewards motion. What guided action can you take today? So here's the thing, especially because you also got the Chariot, which is movement. Here's the thing. You cannot take action until you have allowed, until you have rested. Because what happens is you're taking, spirit is saying that you're taking action from a reactionary place. Something happened and you now feel like you have to push really hard. You're reacting. You're not thinking about all of the ways that you could be blessed or finding the perfect aligned action for yourself, which will come with taking action. It will be perfectly aligned, but you have to listen first. Spirit is really like, I feel like this reading, like I feel like my tone is very like aggressive, and I'm sorry. It literally is how spirit is bringing it through me. It's coming out like, not that spirit is aggressive, but I think some of you, you don't always listen to the gentle voice, that like even in yourself, you don't listen to the gentle voice is what I'm hearing. And so spirit is like, listen, you need to tell them like this. So the universe will reward your motion, and you need to remember that you're not going to stop forever. If you allow yourself a little time and space to take a break, you're not going to just stop forever and just quit making anything or quit doing anything or quit working at the performance that you would like to be at or be the kind of person that you would like to be. You're not just going to quit. I think that's the biggest fear of all, is that you're just going to quit. You're never going to have any more forward momentum and you're just going to be a sad sack. And no, Spirit is literally saying that will not happen. It is in your spirit to reattach to new, exciting, and vibrant ideas, but you have to slow down before that vision can come. So that is what I have for you, pile number one. Your candle is burning so tall and so bright. Like when we started, the flame was really small, like tiny little flame. And now it is like this big. It's pretty good size for how small the candle is. So this to me tells me that you are going to be able to bring this about, but you do need to lean into the divine feminine energy more. That is what is currently missing. And the more that you do that, the more you're going to be able to step into this next chapter that you're really wanting to call in. So that is what I have for you, pile number one. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much to your guides for letting me channel. And, please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my Instagram, my TikTok. I'm at Kloee Taylor, my podcast, new episodes every Tuesday, and my Patreon, where you get a backlog of exclusive content, early access to all of my videos, and just content that you won't find anywhere else. Exclusive pick of cards. You also get voting power depending on which tier you're at. And it really helps me continue to create here the way that I get to create. So I would obviously love to have you there. I'm so grateful to all of my patrons that are already there. Also, because some of you have asked, I have started listing my wish list down below. My birthday is coming up in a couple of months. There is no expectation for gifts whatsoever. I am just telling you this because several people in my comments had asked for it. I think I mentioned it on my last video as well. That will be in the description. And if you would like to, if you feel called to, I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for my readings. If this resonated with you, it is not an expectation, but I certainly appreciate it. I pour it back into my channel. Cards, candles, anything that helps me to raise my vibration so that I can channel the best that I can for these readings. It also helps with like equipment and stuff too, because that stuff gets costly. So unless you tell me to spend it a different way, which sometimes in the comments people will be like, girl, go get lunch. And I'm like, okay, I will do that. But I normally always pour it back. So it really does help me in that regard as well to create more and better things. And I love you so much, pile number one. Thank you so much for, again, letting me read for you. And I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye. Hello there, those of you that chose the orange candle. We are first going to get started with an intention candle. I have also put a timestamp for the reading. If you want to skip this part, it's totally your prerogative. I just really like to take my time with these, and so if you want to skip ahead to the reading, that's totally okay. But for the intention candle, all I want you to do is think of something you want to bring into your life, a person, a place, a thing, an energy, a feeling. It could be multiple things. It could be one thing. If you need more time to decide, you can feel free to pause the video while you think on it. But the important thing is that you think of something you want to bring into your life. And orange is the color usually of ambition. It also corresponds to the astrological sign of Leo, which is like very confident, very like boss energy, in my opinion. But also I would say Leo has like a big heart. Like a high vibrating Leo will always have like a very tender heart, and they show us how we should be loving ourselves and tending to ourselves. So you might resonate with that energy in particular, but you do not have to choose anything based off of that. You can choose whatever you want, but go ahead and place your hand, one of your hands over your heart, one over your navel or your belly button. And we are just going to take a big deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, focusing on the feelings of what having this thing or person, place, thing energy would feel like if you had it. So let's do that now. And I'm going to go ahead and light this candle with our enchanted lighter just to see if we get any messages from the candle flame itself. It looks like the wick is definitely staying. It's like you can tell that it's kind of leaning towards this side slightly, but it is also very like forward facing. I don't know how else to explain that. Like the wick is actually forward, but slightly offset. Also, I'm so sorry if you can hear that. My cats are on one today. Two of them don't get along exceptionally well, and they are arguing outside. They're okay. This is typical for them. But as I was saying, sorry if that distracted you, it distracted me. It looks like the wick on this candle is leaning more towards the masculine side. So this to me is an indication that this might be what you need to pull into your life more. Pull in more of the masculine, go, do, move. It's like very like active, and it's an active and moving energy for sure. So we will think more on that as we get into the reading to see if that like we get more of like a masculine vibe. That doesn't mean that you yourself identify as male, a masculine energy or feminine energy. It is just the energy. It's not gender based. So let's go ahead and see what information we can garner from that. So we are using a really cool new deck today. I link all the decks down below for you as well. This deck actually has holographic cards. I think that's what you call this, where they change. So you got first and foremost the card Dream. You also got the card Static. And then you also got the card Vision. So that's really interesting because static in this deck refers to, and also I love how static is hidden. I can see it from my angle, but the camera can't see it from this angle. It says static across the card. Static is the energy of holding still. It's being like in stasis, of being in one consistent frequency. Where Dream and Vision, these two cards to me really speak more on creating movement, maybe even from a static place. And I honestly feel like with static, maybe you've had a lot of static energy or stagnant. I don't even want to say stagnant. Let's actually pull. I'm going to pull up the book from this pile and actually see what the deck has to say about static, because I think I understand, but you'll have to apologize, or you'll have to excuse me, and I apologize that this deck is so new to me that I'm not familiar with every single card yet. So it says, static. The earth is still rotating and moving beneath us, even when we can't feel or see it. We are always still on the move, even when we aren't. But the feelings of static, of being stuck, may be deeply uncomfortable. We each live in a space differently. We may feel completely shut down. You may feel like your cells are on fire. You may feel like your whole body has a restless leg syndrome. Oftentimes we are pushing up against our life with so much force, we cannot see that we have space to move. This card asks you to zoom out and let your eyes readjust. Our brains are so powerful, but they can keep us repeating the same pattern over and over again. And when we are in the place of being frozen or stuck, we cling to the old way of thinking. This is not to say push yourself out of the space. Try to bask in it instead. Make room for yourself in the stuckness. Let yourself lay down and look around. Stop pushing. You may find that you want to rest a bit. You could also see the various paths that lay at your feet, ready for you to explore. You may sense that you are running parallel to a new way of being, one that you can jump into when you're ready. You get to decide where you go from here, but in this moment, just let yourself see the possibility without feeling the need to move. So so this is what I really like about this card is it actually encourages you to be in the stagnancy of this energy, because from here, this is where you're going to gain vision and where your dreams are going to become thoughts. And from the thought, then we can actually start to move in a direction that creates that. So I feel like with you, and also your wick is now standing a little bit more straight and tall. We don't have as much of a drive towards that masculine energy, which I think is a clear indication that it's going to take a little bit more of pulling back. Maybe you're somebody that is used to being in that scope, being in a very like masculine driven. I mean, I feel like at least the Western world I can speak to, the Western world is very much built on this sense of the divine masculine, where it is all go do hustle culture and get out there and chase everything. And maybe you're at a place right now where you're tired of doing that but it is the only thing that you have ever seen work for you in the past. And Spirit is asking you right now to relish in this pause, to stop, to look around, to listen, and to let your dreams and visions come to you in a slow and steady stream, because that is what is missing. If you feel like you're like, oh my gosh, like the things that I always do, it's just not working, I don't know what to do, you need to allow the static energy to take over and to let yourself just rest. And, if that means laying in bed and crying about it, that's what you need to do. Crying is still emotion bubbling up. And what do we know that emotion is? It is energy in motion. It is literally just energy pouring out of you as it needs to be released. So don't be so hard on yourself if you are in this static place and you want to force your way out of it. That's the worst thing that you could do. You need to allow yourself to have more dreams, more vision, give yourself the time to process. So let's go ahead and pull some tarot cards over these and see what's going on. We have the Six of Swords. This card to me tells me that you are going through an initiation period right now. You are being initiated into the next vision for your life. I feel like pile number 1 had a very similar vibe. So if you were also being called to the purple candle, definitely listen to that reading too. Similar vibe, slight differentiations though. But the Six of Swords is all about being initiated into something that is on the horizon and us going towards it. And even if you feel like you're not moving, you actually are, just like this card said. Even if you feel like you're not moving, you actually are being propelled towards your greatest vision for your life. And it's not for you to continue to move towards it. You need to actually let yourself be initiated by the universe, by your spiritual team. Let that really come to you. Let the visions be born. Let those be planted within you. And then we also have the Ten of Swords. And this card is, my goodness, it is letting something close out completely as it has really run its course. Tens are always a completion in the tarot. They always talk about the completion of a cycle. And so maybe there is a dream that you once had that you either already materialized it, or it's a dream or a vision that needs to be let go of because there is a greater one that is coming to take its place. I don't want you to look at this like it is a bad thing. Like, oh no, my vision that I've had forever and ever and ever is never going to come true. Spirit would never do that to you. I hope you know that. I hope you know that Spirit would never put a vision or a dream on your heart just to rip it away from you and not replace it with something 10 times better. So if you're going through that process now of feeling like you're losing sight of your vision or your dream, Spirit is saying that you need to let it go fully so that this better dream, this better vision, greater than you, I just got the full body chills, better than you ever could have imagined is waiting to be born through you, but it can't happen until you release the vision of the past. Then we have for you the Two of Wands. See, when you actually allow stagnancy to happen, greater things come to the horizon, come to the forefront. You come to this place of new creation, of having brand new ideas that you'd never thought of before, and new ways of making them happen. Because the Two of Wands is a card that is all about having grand dreams and creating them into being, having the thoughts conceptualize around them, and literally having everything at your fingertips to make it happen. And then we also have the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is really interesting to me in this reading because nowhere in here, aside from having a past dream, did the past literally show up. And I think what this is saying to you is if you let this vision go, if you stop holding so hard and clinging, the vision will actually come to fruition. The dream, the past dream that you were like, I don't want to let it go. I don't want it to die. If you let a new dream come in, the past one will actually solidify. It is that grasping. It is that wanting. It is that desiring that is keeping it from you. And the past dream will literally be handed to you. Literally, just like this. Future self handing this to a past version of yourself. Just like this. It's going to come in the most magical way. And it's going to come through by way of the divine. That's what I'm hearing. By way of the divine. It's going to come through in such a magical way that you wouldn't even have believed it otherwise. Like, that's really what I'm hearing. And past you is going to be so proud that you were able to release, let go, and actually have trust and faith in the divine that it could still happen, but that it's not up for you to decide. Like, truly, this to me is the reading of making yourself the vessel for the divine to actually work through. And I actually find that that is very true, that when, like, the more and more and more you get onto your spiritual journey, the more and more and more that you start to manifest things, bring things into your life, get excited about things, like, the more that you start to, I don't even want to say like ascend, because I don't think that we are all like so separate, but for lack of better words here, the more that you start to ascend on your own spiritual journey, the less you will actually start to desire the material, tangible things. And I have seen that be true for myself. I have seen that be true for other spiritual people and entrepreneurs in the spiritual field. That is something that just comes eventually. Like, the things that you originally really, 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 really wanted, oftentimes it's material things, those start to not matter. And you start to want things like peace, ease, and you don't care as much about the material gain of everything. And that is coming from a Taurus. You know how much a Taurus loves materialism. Eventually, those things just don't matter as much. And I think for you, you have to almost get to this place where you're not so much clinging to the material, clinging to the vision or whatever it is. For some of you, it might not be material. It's just an idea that you want to see put into fruition. But when you actually let go of it, that's when it will happen. And there's also more, Spirit is saying that there is also more work to do in terms of your inner landscape. And this is something that I feel like we also talk about a lot on this channel, that you may have a desire for something to be brought into fruition, but you need to get to a place where you are very honest with yourself. Why do you desire this to come into fruition? Is it because you want validation? Is it because you desire something material? It's not wrong to want these things, especially if you've lived a life where you were always invalidated or you grew up in poverty. There is never anything wrong with wanting those things that you don't feel like you have had. However, in order to see them outside of us, we have to see them inside of us first. I've said this before and I will say it again. We manifest backwards. Like, society has taught us to manifest backwards, in the sense that we always think that if we get the thing, the material thing, we get the validation, the praise, whatever it is, the fame, then we will feel good. And we actually need to feel good first, and then the thing comes. So the last two cards I have for you, pile number 2, is there is strength in doing nothing. Wait. What have you been forcing, and how can you let go of the outcome? Ooh, literally, I can't make this shit up, I swear. These cards are just parroting everything that I was saying. So this is about letting yourself do nothing with that 10 of Swords, letting yourself be static, letting yourself be initiated just by being into the next chapter. There's nothing wrong with doing nothing. It's okay to wait. It's okay for stagnancy to be happening in your life right now. It is a normal part of the human experience to stagnate. And then we also have, you can make it through. Your higher self is always guiding you. What wisdom does your higher self have for you? So when you get still, not even still, I actually don't think it is about stillness always. I think we can be literally in action and receive grand visions and grand downloads for ourselves. I've seen this in my own life. I've seen it in other people. It's not about stillness. I mean, it can be if stillness is your forte, but you can be guided in so many moments from your higher self if you just make room and allow. And I actually find that your higher self comes through when you're playing, when you're having fun, when you're giving yourself ease, when you're letting yourself just be fully in the moment, whatever that looks like. And it doesn't always have to be in stillness. You can be fully present in the moment by doing all kinds of things. Gosh, some of my greatest downloads from the universe to do anything have come when I have been like scanning new information online and letting things come into my thought reality, and or like listening to other videos. I get really inspired by other people, or there are so many ways that your higher self wants to guide you. And right now you're being asked to just wait, to be patient, to let this chapter be what it is, to allow that initiation to come in, and to know that whatever vision you've been holding, there is a better one emerging. And again, it doesn't mean that you won't receive the original vision. It means it's going to come about in such an easier, better, amazing way. So that is the urgent message that your spirit guides wanted to impart on you. Thank you so much for letting me connect with you. Thank you to your guides for allowing me to channel the information. And please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my Instagram, my TikTok, and my podcast. Podcast episodes available everywhere. New episodes every single Tuesday. The link is down below for you. Don't forget to check out my Patreon for exclusive content, as well as weekly energy updates, exclusive pick a cards you can't get anywhere else, early access to all of my content, and so much more. And please, please, please do not feel like it is an obligation at all. But if you feel called to, if the reading touched you in some way, I do have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal listed down below. I do accept tips for my readings, but I do not require them. It certainly is very much appreciated to those of you that honor me in that way. I really do appreciate it. I pour everything back into the channel unless you ask me to do something else with it. And I also have my wish list down below if you're curious about that. But again, no expectations here. I literally do this because I feel called to sit here and read. I don't expect all of this stuff back. I'm just throwing it out there. But in any case, thank you so much for tuning in. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Hello there. Those of you that chose the blue candle, we're going to first start by doing the intention candle, and then we'll get into your cards. So if you chose the blue candle, blue candles really speak to the throat chakra, because blue is that that color that symbolizes the throat chakra. Blue also corresponds to the element of water, our emotions. I'll often use blue candles to help ease emotional states if they feel really intense, but you do not have to set intention for any of those. You can choose something totally different. It is all up to you. The only thing that I ask is that you choose something, a person, a place, a thing, an emotion, a feeling, something that you want to bring into your life, and just think about what feeling you would need to feel if you had that thing. Like if whatever that is that you're calling in, if you felt it, what would it feel like? You can even take a moment to pause the video and really think on it for a moment if you'd like to, but go ahead. Ooh, I needed 2 deep breaths for that one. Go ahead and place one hand over your heart, one over your belly button or your navel area. And we're just going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, focusing on the feeling of what it would feel like to have whatever this thing is that you want to manifest into your life. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay. So what we're going to do is light this, and I'm going to let it burn all the way out, even off camera. And what this is it is an energy exchange with the universe. So I am lighting this for you, and this is going to be the energy that we give to the universe as an offering to bring about this manifestation. So we also look at the candle, and we can sometimes get messages from the wick, from the flame. So if I see anything, I will obviously commentate on that as well. But we're just going to go ahead and take our enchanted lighter and light this wick and see what we get. Ooh. That flame almost went out. Did you see that? Something I'd like to point out though is the wick kind of curled up straight first. It almost went out, and now it's kind of making this like S shape. And I feel like the flame is also, you can't even see it. The camera's cutting part of it off, which I feel like that is like a good sign for an intention that we have a strong flame. But the S curvature to the wick, I'm wondering if your energy is having a hard time getting through your body. Like maybe there is like blockage in the, I would say possibly the solar plexus as well as your throat, just based on the curvature of this. If this was like the representation of the straight line that your chakras are in, I feel like the points that it's kind of curving out of balance would be the spots where maybe there needs to be a little bit of work there. So where are you not expressing your truth? Where do you feel like you have no personal power? Those are the areas that you're going to want to focus on at this time, Spirit is saying. But we're going to go ahead and continue to let that burn. If I see anything else, I'll let you know. But let's go ahead and get into your cards. So I am using a new deck today of some really cool cards. You'll see what I mean. We have for you the card of Chaos. And look at this. Chaos. Isn't that so cool? I'm obsessed. I will link all the cards I use down below today. So we do have the card of Chaos. We have the card Earth. And then we also have the card Endure. This one's a little bit harder to see, but Endure. So I feel like what you are being told right now, we do have tarot cards and more things that I'll break down on this for you, but I feel like your life might be going through a current tower moment or a chaotic time. It doesn't mean that every single aspect of your life is a mess. It could just be one area that feels chaotic, but I am feeling the energy of chaos kind of ensuing, or maybe you're paying a lot of attention to the chaos in the world. And Spirit is really saying it is a time for you, no matter what kind of chaos is brewing around you, it is time for you to really focus on reconnecting with the earth, reconnecting with yourself, and also enduring this. I actually would like to read from the book, the Endure card, because I'm really curious as to what it says. This is just the guidebook that came with the deck. You'll have to excuse me. This deck is very new to me, so I don't know every single card correspondence yet, but it's okay. We learn together as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and find this. Okay, it is card number 40. I don't know if that number is significant to you. It might be. I'm hearing for some of you that might be an age. So endure. It says, keep going. Like a desert road that stretches on for miles, it may not seem like there's an ending in sight, but trust that there is. To endure is to take the next breath, to willingly turn the other cheek, to I cannot read, to resolutely accept. It's not about giving in. It's about getting back up each time, knowing it will happen again. We get stronger each time we stand. We are enduring this battle, knowing that we will win the next one. Like a warrior in training, whose body is being put through brutal adversity so that they will be prepared. It's not glamorous, but there's magic in simply getting through, of moving towards the sun, but not feeling the heat yet. Our ancestors all had to journey, to traverse the harsh landscapes that sprawled on endlessly, uncertain if their lifelines would be severed too soon, but they still endured. That same that same strength flows through your veins. Let it rise within you. And when you doubt it, think of them and keep going. So I also feel like this card did also talk about like moving through the landscape of Earth, right? Maybe we're feeling a lot of the chaotic energy because our planet is suffering. I think we could all collectively agree on that we're seeing a lot of planet suffering as well. And you might be somebody that really resonates with Mother Earth and it just guts you to see what happens. Maybe you're somebody that's really tuned in or highly sensitive. And with that, you're feeling and holding the chaos of the world. And Spirit is saying that the earth will heal itself. The earth is going to be okay. And it is your home. And it is your right to want to protect it. This time period right now is meant to be endured through. Now, if it's not quite that broad for you, this could also be very like in an area of your life that you're experiencing. I would actually say that it's really important right now, if you know anything about astrology, to look at where Taurus in your chart is, because Taurus, the planet Uranus, is currently going through the sign of Taurus in tropical astrology. And that is actually a very like chaotic planet that, of course, as it's going through collectively, right? Taurus is our sign of resources, of finances. And so we're seeing a lot of uproar about this. But personally, where is Taurus in your chart? Now, if you don't know anything about astrology, you can always go and get your free charts. There are plenty of websites online where you can go and look at that. But I would say if you wanted to know like specifically an area, you probably already know without even needing to look at astrology. Astrology would just confirm it to you. But that to me is really what this is symbolizing. There is a part of your life that is having that planet of Uranus create chaos in your life. And, you know, as above, so below, right? As what the planets are doing above, so below here. And with this chaos, you are meant to endure. You are meant to continue to get up and to keep fighting and to keep going and know that this time period eventually will end. You are literally being forged in the fire is what I am hearing from Spirit. You are being forged in the fire and don't give up on yourself. This is all coming together for a reason. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these tarot cards. So we have the Nine of Wands. And this card literally is the card of endurance, because the Nine of Wands, 10 is what would come next. And 10s in tarot are always the finish line, right? They are the completion of a cycle. Now, the Nine of Wands that comes right before the 10 of Wands. The Nine of Wands, if you'll notice, we have this figure here basically already kind of like beaten up a little bit by life. Like she's got bandages on. She's still holding her staff though, ready to go and continue to fight even though she's been beaten up. Like she's not giving up. And this is really a notion to you that no matter what kind of chaos you are dealing with, don't give up on yourself. Spirit is saying that very specifically. If you are here in particular, this might just be one person right now. If you are here considering giving up on yourself, or like, please know that you are valuable, and please do not give up on yourself. There is so much more in life to be enjoyed, to be seen, and just hold out hope. If that's all you can do is cling to hope right now, do so. But know that this time period will come to an end. That is the one thing that is guaranteed in this lifetime, besides death, is that everything always changes. Your situation will not stay the same forever. Now we also have for you the Knight of Wands, and I think this really speaks more to what is able to change if we allow ourselves to endure this time period that might be really difficult. The Knight of Wands is about the stroking of passion once again. Now, this could also be a person that is manifesting in your life, a brother. It could also be somebody that just has a very like masculine presence. It doesn't mean that they necessarily identify as male. They could just be really in touch with their divine masculine. But the Knight of Wands is somebody that is usually very like passionate, fun-loving, energy filled, and honestly, they thrive in that chaos energy, in my opinion. This is like somebody that knows how to turn chaos into passion. And this is either you that you have the potential to become, or this could resemble somebody else in your life that actually really wants to support you right now, because we do have the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups is a very supportive card. It means that you have people around you that really want to support who you are, where you're going, what this journey of your life is like right now. And maybe they're people that you haven't even considered would want to support you or hear about what you're going through. I'm hearing for some of you, this could even be in like online communities. If you feel like you don't have somebody in your life that you can turn to, it's time to open yourself up to an online community. And open yourself up to like, especially, I'm going to tell y'all right now, just as like a personal example of this, 90% of my friends, actually, yeah, 90% of my friends live in different places than me. I only have one friend that is local, and everybody else is like 2 hours or more away from me. 2 hours is like, or maybe 3 hours is like the closest person aside from the one. And everybody else is like several hours away from me. My family is more than a day's drive away from me. Like everybody is really far away. However, because of Twitch, I used to stream in gaming in Twitch. I still stream periodically. I'll do like tarot streams periodically, like maybe a couple times a year. It's not very often. But when I used to do gaming on Twitch, that is where like most of my friends came from, is from meeting people in gaming communities. And I'm not saying you need to go into gaming. Like there are so many communities on Twitch in particular. Even here on YouTube live streaming, I feel like you could find that. I'm just not as familiar with YouTube live streaming, but so many communities exist. And you can join a Discord and meet so many like-minded people if you're open to that. If you're here right now listening, you can get the Discord app. It's free. And like you can get the Twitch app. It's also free. If you feel like you have nobody supporting you, please consider opening yourself up to like virtual friendships. I'm not saying like, obviously be safe. Things online can obviously be sketchy. I'm not trying to tell you not to keep yourself protected and just open up to anybody, but I feel like just take it from somebody who knows what it feels like to have very unsupportive family at one time in my life, and also to feel like I had no friends at one time in my life. Like you can recreate yourself from the ground up. You do not have to sit in this I have nobody mentality. There are people that will support you if you open yourself up to it. And then we have the Four of Swords, and especially with an endurance card, I feel like the Four of Swords is really a call to let yourself have deep rest. This card comes out, I swear to you, in almost every pick a card that I do. I see a Four of Swords, and I don't know which one of y'all always comes back to my channel and is not resting when I tell you that you need to rest, but they're going to keep calling you out. This is really a card of deep rest though, and allowing yourself rest from the chaos, especially again, the chaos of the world, I feel like is something that we forget. Is we are not meant to always be in reactive mode 24/7, consuming media the way that we do. The human mind has not evolved to conceptualize that much. And because of that, we are a collective that is more anxious and more stressed out than ever before. And taking time for yourself is okay. It is okay to back away, to close the laptop, to close the phone, to take time for yourself. You do not have to be at anybody's beck and call. You do not have to allow yourself to be constantly thrown off your own energy because of what you are consuming. Because I get the sense that there is a lot of consumption going on. And it is causing more chaos internally because we're constantly going and looking for it. And it's normal. I'm not saying this to shame you in any way. It is so normal for our minds to look for things that are potentially a threat, right? I want to say that's like the amygdala that we stimulates. And I feel like even like news engines and stuff like thrive on that. They're constantly trying to stimulate our amygdala to make us scan the environment for things that are a potential threat. And so you have all these headlines that are really unsettling. And I'm not saying that that makes the problems in the world not real. They are very real. There are a lot of problems, but you cannot solve them all by yourself. And it's not for you to constantly hold and reel on them. It's okay for you to take a break. If you're going to endure this current time, especially my star seeds, my rainbow children, my the people that are also just like highly sensitives, this is a really delicate time on the planet and you might be feeling it all. And Spirit is saying that it's good to connect with community, to get support outside of that. And this might be a process that takes a lot of time before we see it get better. And I don't know why your reading, unlike the other two piles, is a lot more involved and invested with the collective. Maybe you're somebody that feels like you absorb a lot of other energy, but I get the sense that there is a lot of noise in your head and in your body, and it's throwing your energy off as well. And Spirit is just trying to remind you, and you were led here to this reading to be reminded that you are divinely supported also by your spiritual team. You can find support in this lifetime right now. If you do have it, reach out to those people. If you don't, it's time to create more community and to allow yourself time away. Now, we also have for you, nothing can be threatened. How can you actively participate in creating heaven on earth? I told you this was like my star seeds, rainbow children. This, y'all have another mission here. And the reason this is coming through so strongly, I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit. I feel like when I get into certain esoteric topics, some people don't like it, but you know what? I'm not here to disrupt the channel. I literally just channel the things that I get from Spirit, and this is where we're at. So I'm saying that more for myself than I am for anybody else, but your vibration is so important. Pile number 3. I feel like another pile today talked about this a little bit, but it is the collective's vibrations that is going to make up the whole. So the more of us that are actually tuning into our frequency, our own vibration, and raising it, that is what is going to actually create a shift in the collective. And there's also people that are doing out there actually talking and meeting, and your job specifically is to raise your own frequency and your own vibration, because what that will do is it will ripple out and carry out to people around you in your home, in your community, in your family, in your town. It matters, and your energy needs to be solid so that you can actually make that impact. So nothing can be threatened. How can you actively participate in creating heaven on earth? Literally by getting your mind right, by getting your mind, body, and your energy right. Then we also have for you, 44. Look at that. I love that. I'm a fan of number 44. That number follows me around a lot. It says, come together. We need each other. Where have you been separating yourself or pushing against others and the world? Your reading, again, was a really broad topic. And I feel like this is also a lot about holding the opposites of the world, holding the polarity of the world. What was it that was said that I thought was just so, it was such a valid point. Don't get me wrong. I do think that when and this is like me talking myself, not channeling for a moment. I do think that we need to challenge the structures that are in place. I don't think they're serving humanity personally. And I do think that it is important for us to challenge those things. But I don't remember who said it. It might have been Stargirl, the practical witch. Somebody said it. And it was like if your town was flooding and you had a boat and you saw somebody on top of their roof just struggling, unable to get away, are you going to ask that person who they voted for in the election and then base your decision on whether to save them or not on that? No. Like, yes, hold systems and structures accountable for change, but we're not going to create that change that we're looking for if we keep polarizing and dividing ourselves. And the more that we can actually try to find the common ground, try to actually educate more, or try to make more and more space, the more we can hold those opposite extremes, which I feel like you already do if you picked this pile, the better the outcome is able to be. And so your mission is really important, and Spirit literally came here to speak through me to remind you of that, because maybe you've forgotten and you've lost your way a little bit. And we need you. You are a part of the whole. The collective needs you just as much as it needs me, just as much as it needs other people. It needs you too. We need you too. So I know things seem crazy. I know that maybe I get this like very dense energy feeling, and you chose the blue candle, which to me could potentially have ties to your emotional state, just feeling some type of way. Spirit really just wants to remind you of your significance, how beautiful, amazing, important, and how much your energy is needed on this planet at this time. And sorry, I'm trying to just like feel into it. Let's just take another deep breath real quick. I feel like we all just need to, definitely sigh it out. If you could do another one of those, like, I feel like some of the things that I'm saying, they are relieving pressure off of you. Like, I can feel that there is a lightness that maybe it's just something that was said here. I'm not really sure, but there's definitely something that just transpired. So pile number 3, thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out my podcast, new episodes every Tuesday, my Instagram, my TikTok, the Patreon if you want to support my content, get early access to content, and get like a whole backstock library of stuff that has been released over there for almost a year. You get access to everything as soon as you join, so definitely check it out. I have my wish list down below if you're curious about that. No pressure, of course. And I also have my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal if you would like to tip me for my readings, if this resonated. Again, I do not expect I do not expect tips, but they are certainly always appreciated. So definitely check that out if you're curious. Everything is down below for you. I love you so much, Pumpkin. I wish you nothing but the best, and just please hold on to hope. If that's all you have left, please hold on to hope and know that you are loved, that you are always welcome in this community. And I encourage you to seek out other community if possible. I feel like that's something that you're really needing, specifically pile number 3. So I'm going to let this candle burn out for you so we can get that intention going. And again, I love you so much. I'll talk to you again soon.